the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks. Where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Past the square, past the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. He'll rekindle all the dreams that took you a lifetime to destroy. He'll reach deep into the hole, heal your shrinking soul, but there won't be a single thing that you can do. He's a god, he's a man, he's a ghost, he's a guru. They're whispering his name through this disappearing land, but hidden in his coat is a red right hand. You don't owe no money, get you some. You don't have no car, get you one. You don't have no self-respect, you feel like an insect. Well, don't you worry, buddy, cause here he comes through the ghettos and the barrio and the barry and the slum. His shadow is cast wherever he stands, stacks of green paper in his red right hand. You'll see him in your nightmares, you'll see him in your dreams. He'll appear out of nowhere, but he ain't what he seems. You'll see him in your head on the TV screen. Hey buddy, I'm warning you to turn it off. He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. You're one microscopic cog in his catastrophic plan, designed and directed by his red right hand.
Everybody, we are back. Another episode of Indie Reporter. Oh boy, it has been a day for sure. Hey, wait a minute, hold on. You know, missing the face, missing the voice of the current voice and face of Indie Reporter, Steve Whitmer. That's right, we're back. And I was starting to stress out a little bit because I was like, oh my God, it's 7:30. I need to take a quick shower because I was looking into that truck crash that happened in Avon earlier today. Oh man, it is. The things that I'm finding out so far are terrible. But we got Polly in the chat. We got Ducky in the chat waiting on a special power. This was Polly's song tonight. So tomorrow is Brad's. So we got a nice loaded show for you tonight. A lot of stuff happened. I'm hoping that I remember all of it because some of it did get separated. I will have to go back. I'll have to go back and watch Ways and Means because it was happening during Judiciary. But Judiciary was way better. Oh yeah, Ducky. So there was a guy that got killed too. So apparently a semi truck ran through a red light over in Avon, like 4 o'clock? I don't know, earlier this afternoon, and killed a guy. And Kiwi News Network on Facebook was able to get a picture of the side of the truck with the dot number and the name of it. So I'm like, oh, cool. That means I can go find out who they are. So I find them on InBiz. I find them on search carriers. I look them up. So here's what's really crazy. Hold on, let me just show you real quick. I know it has nothing to do with it, but this is what I will be doing after the show is over. Let's see. So Angela Ganote, she reported it first about the yeah, there it is at like 3:30. That's when she reported it. About the Hendricks County Sheriff Department being releasing what happened here. Truck ran through the red light, took that guy out. If you go to Kiwi's News Network, they had a picture of the truck that had crashed into it. And so I was able to go on InBiz and look them up. Turns out, not Harpal Singh. But here's the crazy part. There are two addresses. The principal office, which is at a house in New Palestine, and then the incorporator's information that's in Greenwood. I'm like, oh, perfect, because I got a feeling that this guy probably owns a bunch of houses. I go look up the address on Beacon. It's not Harpal Singh on there. It's some other dude like Gurwinder or whatever. And 50 homes in Johnson County, over 50 homes, are owned by this one guy. So I started plotting them out in a map and then cross-referencing them or cross-checking them with on search carriers because they have a map. And, dude, the homes that they have trucking companies attached to them as well. Now, I'll have to go through each 50 of them because I need to see if they are dissolved or not. That's going to be the trick about it. So that's what I'll be doing while I'm listening to Ways and Means in the background. Yippee for me. This is what I do, though, man. All right, let's get into the bills. SB 88, if you guys remember that. That was the, hey, you know how to live a good life bill? Graduate high school, get a job, and don't be boinking anybody and having a kid before marriage. Try and keep it monogamous. Here's what's interesting. I don't have it. I should have it, though. I just thought about it. In statute for sexual education, it actually teaches students that it's better to have a monogamous relationship and also to wait until marriage until you start boinking and to avoid venereal diseases, sexual transmitted diseases. So yeah, so we're kind of like adding on top of that. Whatever though. All right, SB 159 was not heard today. SB 200 it eliminates the auto renewal for contracts. Listen, I'm not a teacher, so I'm hoping that the teachers, they get it. It did pass, but it was 7-3. I'm not exactly sure what some of these bills were. SB 200, which had to do with grievances, I think. Oh no, that was the 239. So this has to do with compiling a list of businesses and industry partners that provide guaranteed incentives to high school students who earn the Honors Employment Plus a seal, and to publish a list on the DOE's website. Charter conversion, probably to public schools to charter schools. It's probably why Democrats voted no on it. Then 254. Dude, this Ivy Tech bill, I didn't even read through it, but then all of a sudden there's an amendment from Bob Baining, who chairs the Education Committee, on something to do with the IEDC. And I was like, I'm listening to this thing live, and I was like, what does that have to do with Ivy Tech? So let me just play it for you.
What this would do, it would basically ask IEDC to come together and create an education to employment research program. They have to have it no later than December 1st of 26, to develop an education employment research program, create a framework for education employment data analysis and data sharing. The 4 or 5 points would be inform state policy making and economic development strategy, help promote labor market alignment, facilitate statewide and regional talent planning, strengthen workforce training programs, and support return on investment analysis. I believe it's something that we really need to do to really have a better longitudinal look. And I would use the example of the LEAP project. And while we have made significant state investments into that, we really have, I think, could do a much better job of making sure our workforce aligns more closely to the needs of that particular project, and this would help provide that. It also has been, it's done, IEDC has indicated they have some existing funding, so it would not require any additional funding, as well as some philanthropic support.
Those last two things were most important. IEDC has extra funding and philanthropic support. Special Power in the chat. Yeah, Special Power was in the chat earlier today while watching the committee meeting. What do you think of Courts and Criminal Code of Special Power? We'll talk about that here in a second. So yeah, let's use that auto renewal for contract. I'll tell you, basically out contracts get negotiated well after the year has started, even if there are raises, we get back pay. So he said, like, there's contracts that automatically get renewed, and that would stop that. So it just doesn't happen. Like I said, I don't know, but here it is. All right, so I started looking into what he was talking about, because he mentioned Virginia and the Amazon headquarters. And what they did over there is that they built like 800 or 1,400 apartments. It's basically like a massive soda sopa. And this is where my tinfoil hat theory goes, is that, hey, you know what? We're going to have the LEAP project as a soda sopa, as in, hey, we're going to have these manufacturing jobs because Meta's going to be over there. And then you're going to have all these apartments that are over there too. But we need workers. So what we'll do is that we'll try and build up a workforce program through high school to try and get all these people into being good little piggies. That's basically what I was gathering from that. I am going to look more into the Amazon headquarters in Virginia if I get a chance this weekend, because I think because this will be the blueprint of what they want to do over here, including some money. And there is another video. Delaney asked him who was going to be the other support for the philanthropic, and Baining wouldn't even say. He's like, it might be Lily. Not saying that is Lily. So it seemed like it might be Lily, but we'll see what happens. That was the most surprising thing. This thing came out of nowhere. It doesn't look like it has anything to do with Ivy Tech. It was just plugged in there for some reason. That's why it got a 11-0. So whatever. All right, moving on from there. We go to Courts and Criminal Code. This is where Special Power was watching. That was a very annoying meeting, was it not? Mostly towards the end, the very last bill, which was 285. All right, so SB 271, the sale of telecommunication equipment. Hey, you remember when I first started talking about this bill? And I said, Mo, this reminds me of a lot of the cat converter stuff, where like they were having to put like VIN numbers on the cat converters, or having to verify like, hey, it actually came from this vehicle. I did not steal it. Literally, they have an amendment that mirrors that language. I'm like, oh, how do you like that? The things that I said that they should do, basically, and they did it. I'm awesome. People 30 seconds to talk. Ask if anyone else had a die. Oh, yeah. Listen, Mitch Gore is a piece of shit, all right? I don't care if she mogs him. I don't exactly like McNamara. However, sometimes these people do go on this long monologue diatribe, and you got to reel them back in. That's why you have to have a maximum amount. So. Plus, I know it's just going to be a bunch of people crying about more homeless people. All right, regulation of hemp. Hold on, 200. Oh, I forgot to mention too. 200. So there was an amendment that allows the military to supply some information. So Jake Teshka, I believe, had this amendment. He said, you know how like schools will come in and they'll talk about the benefits of like working for them or being part of them. Apparently, the military does not do that. But I remember being in high school and like the Army and the Navy setting things up in like the foyers. Like, if any of you guys are interested in having information, that was over there. I don't know if the rules have changed in the last 20 years, but whatever. Oh, I think that was it. All right, moving on from there. So 250 was the big hemp bill. This was the big talk of the town of what was going to be happening with the regulation of hemp, because if you guys did not know, there was already a bill that passed in Congress last year, and it already passed or was signed, but it doesn't take effect until November. Basically, what this would do is that it would mirror everything, but the big argument was, hey, we have these alcohol companies that aren't selling as much booze, so they started moving into THC drinks. Hey, what are we going to do when we invested all this money into manufacturing? Well, the problem is all the bad players in the game, where they're like these gas station owners that are having massive amounts of milligram of THC in these drinks, plus all the you can call them the gummies or whatever. They all look like candy. So there has been a massive increase of poison control calls because of all of this stuff. So they're trying to wrangle it all in. So that's where this bill comes into. Now, there was a couple of talks about it last week of what they should do with it. Steve Bartels, who was on the Safe and Regulated Party Committee, however you want to talk about, basically legalizing weed. He basically brought in his bill that would have the framework to start legalizing weed. However, Garrett Bascom, he had an amendment that ended up passing that mirrors the definition of the hemp bill of hemp from the federal government. It will the possession of minors. Hold on, I thought I had it over here. I don't have it here. Sucks. Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, we got to take care of that one. 145. Oh, there it is. And then also manufacturers, they can manufacture like the drinks and everything, but they cannot sell it in the state, because where they will have the language, it'll be far too much THC or too less of THC for it to even be able to sold. Yeah, pretty much got it done. There were four Democrats and one Republican that voted against it. That's fine, whatever. Well, the real drama will happen when it hits the House floor in seconds. Committee is one thing, but having everybody talk about it on the stage, I can guarantee you what's going to happen is like, hey, we need to sit back and we need to have a study. We need to talk about things, because that's how Democrats like to work. All they want to do is yap. And so yeah, jury duty exemption for women breastfeeding, that passed no problem, nothing crazy there. 261, basically taking the criminal mischief crimes and then turning it into vandalism. They found, and what it did is that it consolidated a lot of these mischief crimes. Indiana Crime Gun Task Force. This was for Gary, if I remember right. They did one in Marion County. Oh, LaPorte and Porter County for Gun Task Force. Totally, it sucks. Nothing's going to happen. SB 144. All right, so hold on. I actually got this one. Hold on, I got this one written up real quick. So there was also an amendment. Getting in trouble. Juveniles will get their record. Oh yeah. So basically, it tightens underage sales and possession laws for tobacco and vape devices. It clarifies the definitions and introduces serious penalties for selling THC to minors. It also ensures online sellers verify age, maintains reporting requirements for manufacturers, and directs penalties to the state's tobacco enforcement fund. Now, there was like a bunch of talks like, well, what happens if juveniles get in trouble? It's going to be on their record. You know, it would be really bad if like juveniles did something bad, it was on their record. It might prevent them from having any future good luck. And I think McNamara says like juveniles will get their record expunged once they become adults, which honestly, I didn't know that. Or here's an idea. Don't do dumb stuff. Seems pretty easy to me, but, you know, I'm just a cute and sweet little guy over here on the interweb. The grooming bill, there was a lot of talk on that. Let me break it down for you real quick. So I think there was an amendment, right? Yeah, so here's where it's crazy. So instead of it being, originally I think it was 18, or was it 14? Hold on. I want to make sure I got this right. Age was 2 and 3. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, so aging pattern. Okay. Okay, so use letters. Okay, so let me just talk about the whole bill with the amendment. Basically, if you are trying to, how do I say this? You're trying to get into the kids' sphere and then try and talking to them and giving them gifts and to the point where like they are not telling things to their parents, they are telling things to you. So there was an example that they were giving him, just was making me turn red. There was this guy and he was, like when you're have a kid and then you're playing like horsey and then the kid's like on your back and having fun and stuff. Well, there was stuff like that, but then it turned into where like the guy was having the kids give him massages with like these vibrating tools, and then he was doing it to the kids as well. Yeah, there was like pure Crespo and Benoit song, eyes red, Uma Thurman style. It was really pissing me off. But here's the thing, like Purple for Parents talked about how it turns it from 14 to 18. And I want to make sure that I had this. The big policy shift. Grooming law now protects all minors, not just children under 14. Covers teen grooming behavior. Oh, wait a minute. This is not the amendment, though, right? No, that was amendment. Oh, yeah. The covers teen grooming behavior, aligns the statute more closely, adding sexual activity. Here was what's really interesting. Ireland had this amendment that sexual conduct versus sexual activity. And I guess like there's a lot of overlap, but fondling is like involved with sexual activity. So he actually mentioned it. They said, hey, next year I think we need to start consolidating some of this language, get this stuff figured out so we know exactly what's going on, which I think is yeah, that's what it was. This may be, we are the only state that has it at 14, should be under 18, not 14. Yeah, that's what was, I thought that's what the amendment did, though. I was going to go back and listen to it, but that's basically what they were saying the whole time, right? It's like, hey, why are we doing it from 14 under? It should be 18 under. Don't be surprised if you see an amendment changed on the House floor. I'm just saying. They are probably getting a lot of conversations right now on that. All right, so okay. All right, so 285. This was the big one. This was the one where everybody was like, oh my God, we are going to criminalize being homeless. And they were just giving the dumbest mental gymnastics, fear-mongering stuff. Like, think about the domestic person who's got beat up by their husband and they had to run away with their kid. And, they're just sleeping in a park, and then they're going to get arrested, and then DC has to get involved, and then they're going to get separated, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, dude, first off, if we're in Marion County, none of that is happening, okay? Second off, if the kid is homeless and sleeping with the mom somewhere, maybe DCS should get involved because there is a child endangerment issue with that. However, the more I was listening to it, the more I was like, oh, this is what happened in Fountain Square last year. Remember last year when I was doing dash cam footage for Fountain Square Skid Row? This is making me think of it. Because basically what it was, that we had this over on like Leonard and Virginia, I think. This massive row over in Fountain Square that was overtaken by homeless people, and it took them months. And they actually had a news report, and I think even one of the people that lived at the houses was getting like rocks thrown at them. They were getting on their porch and stuff. It was a huge problem. And so, who was it? I don't know. It was like DMD or DPW, one of the agencies, and they were told them, it's like, hey, you got to scoot by this day. And so that day came and went, and then nothing happened. It was like, okay, we're going to give you one more month. And then finally, they actually got it to happen. In fact, I have the paperwork for it. On the second time that it actually worked, I was like, so I came back the next day. I was like, well, the paperwork is still there. I'm going to take it. Because that's my trophy, basically, because I think I had a large part to play in all of that. But that's basically what this bill is. Hey, you're not supposed, and it applies to public land. This isn't like if it's private, it's trespassing, right? But if it's on public, there was no real, I guess there was Carrasco was saying there's really no way of doing it, like no real mechanism of handling it. So basically what would happen is like you have to tell them, hey, you can't be here. And then if they have to come back, that's when they say, hey, you can't be here, and they're going to get charged with like a misdemeanor. But the whole goal, the intent of the bill is to try to get them into housing. And Special Power, help me out with this one. Because basically what they were saying, you had like, I don't know, like four people, I think, that was in support of the bill. And then you had like 22 people that were against it. And there was all these like fear mongering, homeless. What are we going to do with these crackhead types of people? And it was like, it had to be straightened out almost every time. It's like, listen, the police have discretion. This is not a shall. It is a may. And I was like screaming at the laptop. I'm like, housing first doesn't work. Don't you understand that? It's like you have all these crackheads who has not had responsibilities in how long, and then you're expecting them to be given an apartment and be like, hey, stay clean, be accountable for yourself. No, they're gonna trash the place. And there are so many examples of that happening. And who was it? Maureen Bauer or something is like, hey, you know, they're not supposed to be doing drugs over there, and they got to be like sober and everything. It's like, yeah. Does that actually happen though? How is that enforced? That's what I would like to know, because there was plenty of testimony last year during Indy Council meeting they were at, I forgot which homeless shelter, but they were getting harassed all the time. Like the water was ice cold. They had to take a shower outside during winter. It was like all this crazy stuff. There's no access for the next step. Yeah, handout does not. Yeah, exactly. It was all about the handouts. And I was just getting so annoyed of it. Person who can't. Okay. Oh, it also removes the cause of action, because someone had a question about that. It's like a private person could sue the city, and I was like, oh boy, that sounds dangerous. So they took that section out, and a lot of it had to. There was one example of Special Power. Yeah, a lot. Well, not just that, but like nomads. A lot of addicts don't want help. They like that life. They don't even want to be at a homeless shelter. But think of all the nomads that just don't want to be part of the system. Like they chose that lifestyle. Not even drug addicts, but just straight up wanderers, beatniks, whatever you want to call them. And there was a couple of good examples. Like, hey, you know, it was like 0 degrees out the other day. And if that person's so jacked up, or like they don't know where they are, it's like, don't you think it's the police responsibility that they should grab that guy and take him to jail or something? Hey, jail's better than dying and freezing to death. Like I watched this Minnesota in Patrol on YouTube almost every weekend while I'm doing other research. And he like picked up some homeless dude and gave him some Burger King cards too, so he can get some food. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, a lot of cops are there to help. They see some dude struggling. He or she wants to know how they can help out. They want to make them move every 48 hours too. Yeah, what was it, 300 feet or something? Or some like ridiculous number. Like, how are you going to measure that? And I don't know. Like I understand the intent of it. It's like, over in Marion County is a massive problem. Except, that's what I was going to show. Hold on. This it? Yeah, like this is a perfect example. There was a WTHR article the other day, and because there was an overdose at the Julia Carson Transit Center the other day. And there was one last year, too, where you basically had these bums that were smoking weed laced with Raid. And it was like synthetic weed or something. So I read through this thing over at the, I don't know if they were specifically talking about Lugar Plaza, but since 2021, there have been almost 2,000 incident reports for the area. Since the start of the year, there's been 53 reports, 15 narcotics, 8 arrests, 4 assaults, 3 weapons-related offenses, and 1 robbery investigation. You guys remember that picture that I posted on Indy Reporter of that dude setting his balls on fire? It was like a whole video. That's happening all the time, right in front of the city county building. Dude, every month that I go over there, I am just like, I have my head on a swivel, because it is guaranteed that there are some homeless people on the block or in the corner of the block just sitting there freaking out. Or like when I think it was like 2 months ago. No, it was like October or November. I get out of the parking garage and homeless people are fighting like right on the corner of where Fogo de Chao is. Like there has to be something of just getting these bums out of here, and this is what was one of them. This was one of them. You could have like a bum block, or like it's out in the pasture somewhere where you just let them frolic. You know, like it's like Indianapolis own Australia kind of, but without pirates. But I'm sure they'll be trying to rob people for some doubloons. Yeah, the whole thing. It won't work in Marion County. That's basically what it is. Listen, the Bob program is perfect. Okay, the only way to solve the homeless problem is with the Bob program. Hate to break it to you, but that's just how it is. So anyway, yeah, when Mitch Gore went on his massive diatribe, and listen, Mitch Gore is a piece of shit. I don't care how you say it. Him getting mogged by McNamara was just chef's kiss. That's what it was. I will take that every single day. Also, they talked about the Indianapolis continuum of care. Listen, they brought it up, that guy from like the Cicero thing, how $40 million was given to a state, I think, and it was separated out to the Indianapolis continuum of care and the Indiana balance and state continuum of care, and then they divvy that up into different programs. Back in December, we had posted a thing about that when we went to usaspending.gov and pointed it out. I was like, dude, $40 million in continuum of care of federal funding? Like, where's all the money at? And someone did the math on it. It's like, you could give somebody like $20,000 off of how many people that we've given, like how many homeless people I think there are, and then like how much money was spent federally. It is the homeless industrial complex. Their whole goal, by the way, is to keep people homeless it's like, hey, that's why there's never going to be a cure for cancer. It's all about the treatment, right? Hey, you got to keep them hooked up. You got to have a returning customer. And that was actually kind of brought up. Hold on, let me just play this real quick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You mentioned in your testimony that $40 million has been collected from the federal government for homeless programs, and you may not know the answer, but do you know where that money is what that money is going to?
Sir, Representative, I mean, there are two primary recipients of that money. It's the Indianapolis continuum of care, and it's the Indiana balance of state continuum of care. Those entities then distribute it to sub-grantees, essentially, across the state, who then operate programs, and obviously there is a great variety in what those programs look like.
And so we looked it up this was end of December. This is on Christmas Eve. $41 million in federal homelessness grants through the continuum of care from 2021 to 2024. That's crazy. All right, over 3 years. And we know where all the same orgs are getting it. Partners in Housing, Damien Center, Eskenazi, CHIP. Yeah, the lady from CHIP was there too. Oh, God, what are we going to do with all these crackheads? I don't know. Let them. Hey, I've been a big proponent of this. Not everybody's going to make it. Not everybody wants to make it either. All right, moving on. Anyway, I think that passed, right? Let me go back and check. Yeah, 8-5. It did pass. Oh, there's a blog. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, let me put a bow on this because you guys are going to love this. When I played that article, or I showed you that WTHR article, there is a thing called the Economic Enhancement District, and it's in Miles Square. And what it did a couple years ago was approved, and I think downtown Indy runs the program. So downtown Indy gets like some administrative fee, like maybe like a couple $100,000 or $500,000 to run this program. And basically what they're doing is hiring people to clean up the bum poop, clean up the streets. They're supposed to have like interceptors, basically, like people to talk to homeless people and make sure they don't jump off the roof, that kind of stuff. Like public safety ambassadors, but they only work till like 4 o'clock. Yeah, because I'm sure there's so much crime happening between 7 and 4. And so I think it's like a $4 million right now. But here's the thing. It comes from the regular people in the commercial spots, the commercial buildings. So I think people in apartments, I think they have to pay it, but forgot they changed it. I think it was people in houses can opt in and just giving money. I think apartment buildings are part of it, but commercial buildings definitely are part of it. And it's like $6 million a year. I originally thought it was four or five, but then I had to go look it up, and it's $6 million. Bananas. And nothing's helping, by the way. Their whole thing is like, hey, let's just get them in a house and make them not homeless anymore. That's gonna be the trick. Don't fall for the psyop, by the way. That's how they're gonna say, oh, there's less homeless people because they're off the street. No, and by the way, well, how long is these programs gonna last? Are we gonna have to fund them constantly? Where are we gonna get the money for that? By the way, there's still roads to fix for the people that pay for the roads. What do these bums pay for? Nothing. All right, got that. Chamber wants. Oh, surprisingly, Chamber wants taxpayers to fund housing for these crackheads. Shocker. Then they have to repeat it. Yeah, and they even brought it up at the end. This is not like a one and you're in jail. Like, this is a repeat offense before things actually start getting out of control. I'm sure there will be amendments on the floor, and we got to hear about Democrats freaking out and stuff. Ways and Means, I'll have to go back and watch. HB 1003, this was about consolidating commissions and boards. I didn't watch it. I was sneaking through while people were giving testimony through judiciary. It didn't look like there's a whole lot of drama that happened. There only was one amendment. I may or may not go back watch this. All right, Homeowners Association. So there was an amendment that would put a cap on fines, I think. Is that what it was? And then for quorum for a special meeting, it got changed from 75% to 2/3 of people, but they think they have to live there. Like, it just can't be like you own the house and then you rent it out. Like, that has to be your residence, that kind of thing. Civil Rights Commission. I don't know what this is all about. I had like a whole thing written up. It seems very dumb, and something that I kind of don't care about. The 1193. Hold on. Ah, cool. Oh no, that's that one. That's so 1033. That thing is drama filled. Let's see. They're acting like I want to. Okay, so the bill is trying to stop the Civil Rights Commission from using public resources to litigate private damage claims and refocus it on systemic enforcement while cleaning up jurisdiction and strengthening the retaliation protections. I don't even know. I would love to see the cases that go through this thing, because I imagine they are silly. All right, 1033. A lot of drama that happened with this one, because basically it changes everything that is happening in Marion County, and you know who was crying about it. Gray Zone Greg Taylor. Every time. It's like, man, why you got to come in Marion County and mess up my stuff? I don't go into your place and mess things up. Well, let me tell you something, Gray Zone Greg Taylor. GGGT. Marion County's the left armpit of Indiana. That's how it is. And our prosecutor sucks. Our magistrate sucks. Our judges suck. They're all terrible. And what's happening now is that the governor's basically taking control of Marion County Superior Courts and saying, hey, I'm going to appoint 2 people for this board, but I get final say. And I had to go back and like actually pay attention to it. But it looks like it turns the Marion County courts from a judge-run collective into a centrally approved executive committee-run system with an administrative authority ultimately tied to the Indiana Supreme Court. And it looks like what's going to happen are the magistrates are appointed, but I don't know. There is a massive change in the Marion County courts, though. Really, if you can't fix the prosecutor, you're only fixing half the problem. All right, 1417. Make sure I got this right. Yeah, is this the tort one? Yeah. I think this is the Hyundai Kia one, right? Yeah, considering a public nuisance. I kind of wasn't paying attention to it. I'll wait until it goes to seconds. The Democrats voted against it, which means I'm probably going to like it. All right, HB 1001. I don't know why this is in judiciary, be honest with you. I hope someone can tell me why it is. This has to do with housing. What does this have to do with all that stuff? All right, so there was 2 amendments to 10,001, and one of them wasn't really paying attention to, and the other one was all the provisions that were not. They were opt out, or they were I think they were mandated, but now they're opt out. So you have an increase of local control, and also like guidelines for duplex, single family, mixed and development for commercial. This was kind of crazy. So it looks like commercial. Hold on, I want to see. Okay, so mixed-use residential developments are explicitly a permitted use in areas zoned for commercial. So you know how like you have a boutique at the bottom, and then you have the apartments on top? That's going to be zoned for commercial, so you can have more of those. There's actually like one down the street from me on Morris. So that'll be nothing before 9 a.m. Yeah, so true, Steve. That's so true. Someone's saying you have 2 more questions at 4:45. Oh yeah. Dude, I was going through the Avon truck thing. So I was really just checking out for HB 1001. I was just waiting for it to get voted on because there were still like 3 other things they had to vote on. Oh, that's why I didn't see it, 1417, because they still had to vote on that. All right, so this is where I'm at with 1001. I said this from the very get-go, from the very much get-go, was I don't see how nothing in this bill makes me think this is going to lower the price of housing. First off, this really doesn't do anything for single family homes. What this bill is mostly has to do with are apartments and duplexes. And what their big minds are thinking is like, hey, if we get all these apartments and duplexes in there, the market will therefore lower the price of rent. This happened over in Austin. The problem what happened over in Austin was that you actually lost square footage. And so you were getting the price of like 2019, 2020, but you were also losing like 100 square feet averagely. So I don't know if this is what's going to happen over here. However, if you guys saw the Facebook post earlier today on I had posted that because I'm listening to this thing and just like, there's something to it. There's something to it, and I don't know what it is. And then it dawned onto me, oh, this is because they're not selling enough homes, right? So there's some industry is not making enough money. And since the construction industry is so heavily invested in donating to these legislators, they're just like, we got to make a bunch of money and we can't build that many houses because the interest rates haven't dropped. So that's probably what's happening. Hey, we can't build as many houses because the interest rates have not dropped and nobody wants to build new homes. And what are we going to do? So, hey, we got to build something. Let's build a bunch of apartments, but they're going to be like square boxes from some Soviet style, no sold BS, basically. Basically, every mayor, commissioner, town manager that spoke today was not in favor of the bill because it takes away local control. And basically it says, hey, you know what? Oh, yeah, I'm able to delete. Yes, I am able to delete comments. On what? Which comment do you want me to delete? So basically it would take away, they're saying there was take away local control, but then there was an amendment that would not do that anymore. But you had to let them know by the end of the year. So the optional opt-out is at the end of the year, but I don't know how that exactly works. Like, do you, as a city, say, hey, we don't want to have to opt in for any of these changes that will tell me about parking or how I want to dress up this building? I think that's the problem that everybody's having right now. Is I was like, you're going to force me to build ugly apartments because I don't want that. I want to be able to have fancy apartments. Here was the really funny part. The mayor of Westfield Greg Taylor was asking him questions like, what's the average home price over in Westfield? He's like, like $430,000. And Greg Taylor was like, yeah, I don't think affordability, you guys are having the same issue over there. Chris Jensen I actually agreed with that, the king of the vest over there when he said there is nothing in this bill that says that the savings that the developers or the construction people, that it will transfer over to anybody else. And that's been my biggest bitch the entire time. Was like, you're expecting the market to fix everything. All these developers, the investors, they're going to be making all the money. There's nothing in the bill that forces them to say, hey, you have to transfer those cost savings over to the renter or over to the homeowner. But I don't see anything in here that says, oh yeah, it's not there anymore. Don't worry about it. I didn't see anything in the bill that says, hey, you got to transfer all the cost savings. I you have 2 more questions. 4:45. Yeah, I did find it funny that Carrasco was like, it's 4:30. We still have other bills we got to look at. What are we going to do about that? And then I found out that Indiana needs 50,000 more homes. That's how low we are, apparently. I say we got about 50,000 people to deport. Sounds like we got 50,000 families we have to deport instead, my friend. All right, so I will go back and watch Ways and Means, and then I'll report back tomorrow about it. Also, I talked about I was going to go back and watch HB 1210. I went back and watched it. It is a massive bill. I'm not even going to attempt to try it. But it looks like they do have some goofy language on the repealing of the rent control. Like they're trying to have a balance of it. So what I think, if I remember right, basically those who do not actually live in their home will not be able to rent it out. But I think short-term rentals will be adjusted for that too. Wait until it goes onto the floor. We'll just wait until it goes onto the floor. That's the only thing that we can wait for. All right, let's go. What happened to the House real quick? Family and Children Matters. No biggie. Went to engrossment. The powers and duties of election commissioner. That went into engrossment. There was one amendment. Nothing really different. 233. Yeah, nothing there. Foreign agent registration. Nothing changed with that. A little bit. It was like a little bit of drama. Hold on. 256. Oh, there it is. Yeah, changed that it had to be controlling because of something. TikTok. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what it was. Let's see. And it is up subject or different. Okay. Basically, what they were doing is changing the rules because of TikTok. Because the majority owner is now in America, but then the majority owner is not China, basically, and they had to adjust it. And Delaney called them out about it. Whatever. I think you should throw TikTok in there personally. But what are you gonna do? I'm not on the floor. This 277, 25 amendments already. Expect there to be more. This bill is a giant mess. That's why I have not talked about it. The syringe exchange program. We get the final vote before it goes back to the other side. A lot of talk on this one. Like it extends it to 5 years. Investigate people that won't comply to the program. Oh yeah, that was yesterday. That's right. That was the one that I missed yesterday. And then hold on, 185. Okay, yeah. So all the usual the peeps were talking about the syringe exchange program and how it shouldn't be around. It's like, hey, we're trying to help people, but we're going to extend the syringe exchange program. We need to pick a side. Whatever, I don't like it at all, but if I have to deal with this crap, at least I would have liked to see the program only go for 2 years. But I liked Ireland's bill, so I will take it. 185. It expands the Alcoholic Tobacco Commission on what they can show as that gives them more power of regulating vape. So disposable vape products regulation, FDA manufacturer for the vape, ATC permit for vape manufacturing, complete with so you'll be able to compete with big tobacco. It also prohibits products from China or other adversaries. That got out 90-0. And then recognizing the seriousness of the U.S. national debt, hey, let's send Congress a strongly worded letter to let them know you need to get the debt under control. Total crap, basically. All right, what's going on tomorrow, peeps? We got 22 bills and 6 committees, only one amendment. Very surprising on this. Senate appropriation is going to be a big one. Why? And also, I want to make sure that I pay attention to Ways and Means because SB 27, the Bears bill, will be talked about. I thought this thing was dead. I thought it was dead. I thought that we got rug pulled from Illinois, but apparently, is there? Okay, there's no amendment on this. And then everything else too. This one I'm really interested in, the drone one. They're called the unmanned aircraft system. And they talked about in committee, I remember, we'll see how this thing turns out. This is going to be a giant mess in the next couple of years. This whole drone thing is going to be a giant mess in the next couple of years. I can promise you that. Education is going to be a big one, or appropriations. And then 1360. Yeah, pretty boring overall. What's going on over in the House? Let's see. Oh, we got 277 tomorrow. Right. Okay. Yeah. Various property tax matters. Wait a minute. Where's the other? Where's the tax one? This 243. Oh, where's the one with? Wait a minute. That's 281. That's one. Where's 281 at? Hey, where'd 281 go? You get taken off the calendar? Wow. Just slipped by me. Dude, they took it. It's not even on the calendar anymore. What happened to 281? I'm gonna have to message somebody about that one. I need to find out what happened to 281. Let's see. Inspect. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. What's going on in the Senate tomorrow, boys? Ooh, we got a little fun stuff. Battery against that one. Various animal related. Oh man, yeah, I know Greg Taylor. This is where the canines are biting people, and I know Greg Taylor has an amendment. Is it a big one? No. These were objectively reasonable and taken in good faith to protect the person. Neither because they're worried about like the dog biting a person who's not the person that they're chasing. Listen, blame it on the person that's running. All right. Got concurrences already. We got 30s. And we got some drama. We got some drama in the Senate, I think, tomorrow. Should be fun to watch. Where are we at? 53? Man, right on cue. All right. So, the continuation of the People's Choice of songs. Tomorrow will be Brad's song, even though he's not in the chat. I shouldn't even play. I'm going to play Brad's song because I'm a man of my word. But be sure to come back at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go look into the trucking stuff and listen to Ways and Means. It's already queued up. 8 o'clock tomorrow. Indy Reporter back again. You guys have a good night. Hey, warm one today. It's going to be cold again tomorrow. So stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, and do everything that I would do because awesome. Love you guys. Bye.